Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Jaspreet Kaur. The biggest concern for dentists going back to practice is the dental aerosols. This video aims to shed light on a new terminology associated with COVID-19 and different techniques to minimize the risk of infection due to aerosols in our practice. Dentists often neglect the risks associated with aerosols in practice, but due to COVID-19, aerosols have become a hot topic of discussion. With COVID-19 pandemic affecting so many lives globally, it is our responsibility as dental surgeons to minimize the risk of infection and ensure safety of our patients and assistants. Let us first understand the behavior of dental aerosols, splatter and fluid. The diameter of an aerosol particle is 5 to 50 microns, so they remain suspended in the air for an extended period of time before they settle on any environmental surface. In contrast, splatter are particles more than 50 microns in size, so they behave in a ballistic manner. That is, due to their high mass, they settle on the operatory surfaces due to gravitational force after traveling a small distance. These splatter droplets can now dehydrate and form droplet nuclei that can now behave as an aerosol particle in the air, which then follows the airflow pattern. It has been reported that COVID-19 transmission is higher in particles lesser than 5 microns called as fluid droplets. These droplets can remain suspended in the air for a maximum amount of time and can travel up to 4.5 meters. All these particles can remain airborne for 30 minutes to 2 hours and can contaminate surface in the range of 3 feet. What would happen if we inhale these aerosols? Human nose can filter particles above 10 microns in size. Anything lesser than 10 microns can enter the respiratory tract. Particles smaller than 2.5 microns can enter the alveoli of the lungs. And an ultra-fine particle like COVID-19 can actually enter the bloodstream. It is a false belief that over the years of practice, dental surgeons have developed immunity to infections. Yet, 4 surveys conducted by CRA at 5-year intervals from 1990 to 2005 reports that the most common reason reported by doctors for missing work is respiratory infection. Let us briefly go through the different aerosol managing strategies in a dental clinic. First is to reduce the viral load in saliva contaminated aerosols by implementing pre-procedural mouth rinse for patients using 1% hydrogen peroxide, 0.2% povidone iodine solution or 0.12% chlorhexidine, mandating rubber dam isolation in a practice and using high volume evacuation. It has been found that HVE alone can reduce 90% of aerosols when adjusted to optimal velocity and positioned close to the operating site. Secondly, to improve the air quality in a dental clinic, a minimum of 6 air changes per hour is essential. So, the ventilation system should be designed such that the fresh incoming air mixes and dilutes with the contaminated air, and the mixture is then removed with the help of a exhaust system. Thirdly, air filtration can be done by using an air purifier having HEPA grade filter to filter out the contaminated air in the clinic. However, its use in dentistry is controversial because dental procedures generate large volume of aerosols in a very short period of time, which can overload the air purifier, as the amount of air filtered per unit time by an air purifier is limited. Moreover, it is difficult to direct the flow of aerosol towards the air purifier, thereby questioning its effectiveness in dentistry. An emerging alternative can be using an extraoral suction device, which is a high power suction device to capture generated aerosols instantly by placing it close to the patient's mouth, which then passes through different levels of filters for filtration. The filtration happens through different levels of filtration, like the high fiber cotton filter, HEPA filter, activated carbon filter, and UV radiation chamber. Few studies have shown promising signs of these individual components in minimizing the risks of infections due to aerosols in dental clinic. A pilot study concluded that bioaerosols can be efficiently reduced using extraoral suction like air cleaning device during dental procedures. Apart from aerosols, extraoral suction can also be used to reduce the toxicity associated with inhalation of mercury vapors while removing an amalgam restoration. To sum it up, extraoral suction devices have been designed to reduce the risk of infection among clinicians doing aerosol procedures. Although the efficacy of this product against COVID-19 demands further research. Alternatively, clinics can be disinfected using ultraviolet germicidal irradiation, which is quite economical and effective against a wide range of airborne pathogens. But its efficacy depends upon the intensity of the UV light and the duration of exposure. Although its efficacy against SARS-CoV-2 is unproven, it is virtually impossible to eliminate the risk posed by aerosols. However, we can minimize the risk by adopting a multi-layered approach. Until a vaccine becomes available, prevention is the only weapon against COVID-19. Thanks for watching.